So welcome back to another part of LA Fishguys, the fancy cylinder reef tank installation. This will be our third trip out to work on the tank. Today's job involves installing the Neptune Systems aquarium controller. Let's call it the techie part of the episode. My aquarium wife has already been sending me texts and telephone calls asking if I've remembered this and remembered that. It'll be an interesting portion today because Scott Leaf, the friend who I invited to help us out here, also the winner of the Neptune Systems Control Freak Award, was brought in to implement the Apex Aquarium Controller System. I don't know if the customer is really aware as to just how technologically advanced this particular aquarium is going to be. I mean, not only is it the newest version of the Neptune Systems Apex Fusion system, but at the same time, it's going to control everything. Now, one of the biggest challenges I've always run into with aquarium installations is getting the customer to understand their role in the aquarium installation. Today's challenge involves something that didn't happen that was asked for from the very beginning. Not only did I request a dedicated electrical circuit for the aquarium, which wasn't able to be done, so now the aquarium tends to share a circuit with a number of other items in the living room, and hopefully it's not on the same circuit as the kitchen and the microwave. But the challenge today that we just found out, and we asked for it in the beginning, was a dedicated network access, a line run specifically from the home's internet connection to the aquarium, and that hasn't been done yet. Now granted, I understand that the Apex is able to, via Wi-Fi, make a connection, but that's not necessarily the best way to handle programming and such for the Apex. There's also an added problem with the network connection itself in the house, as I understand it, is something similar to what you find in a hotel, which requires passwords and logins and things like that. So that's not going to really work for us. So in addition to installation of the Apex system today, we've had to call upon the homeowner's internet network provider or person who's going to meet us out there to try to help us be able to make the connection with that. So it is a very interesting installation. It's a very technologically advanced installation. It's going to be one that's going to require a lot of education on my part towards the customer, but the reality is that's all what it's about. So let's get ready for another exciting portion of LA Fishguys, the cylinder reef tank installation. Okay, so we're at the location. This is the cylinder reef tank, 42 inches tall, 36 inches in diameter. It is what is referred to as a monolithic tank, meaning it was spun cast. There are no seams other than where the top and the bottom fit on there. The cylinder body has no seams in it. You can see the coral rockwork that's inside the tank that Cande has done. That's all pinned together. Landing zones, nooks and crannies. There's sand at the bottom, the bioactivated stuff. For the moment, we've got a temporary power compact light on top of the tank. We can't install the light until the canopy, as well as the cabinetry around the base, is done. The internal overflow has a Durzo in there. We're going to end up making a modification on the Durzo because between here and the filter system out there, that line that's in the ground creates a siphon, and the Durzo is not stopping the siphon. So it's already been a request to address that. So that'll be one of the things that I'll be working on today. In the base below, you can see there's the return line as well as the drain line. There's a spare line. Looks like we've got the electrical in place now. There are some power supplies down there for the Tunze internal pumps. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And out here, Scott is working on installing the Apex system.
Yeah, got
Hi.
pretty much everything ready to go. How you doing?
Good.
So we're just getting the power bars and whatnot into the place. Our custom breakout box here for the flow switches.
You dropped something down there on the ground.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We got a couple modules to install out here. One so we can connect our breakout box remotely because the controller goes under the tank. And we also have a leak detection module. It'll go in here, and then we'll run some cords between the sump here and the tank so that we can not only connect the Apex to the system out here, but also have a remote leak detection sensor into the tank as well. So first things first is to get all our modules and stuff mounted. Then we'll run some cable between the tank and the filtration box here through that pipe there. And then we'll get to connecting the Apex into the system.
So the power bars are out here, and they will be controlled by the Apex, and that actually will be underneath the cabinet itself.
That's correct. Yeah, we have our Apex board over there, which you'll get to see in a little bit. We've got a custom Apex board there that'll connect to the stand via magnets. We've got some heavy-duty magnets that are attached to the back of the board so it snaps in place, and it's pretty much all set up. Spent the last couple of weeks getting it all programmed, tested thoroughly because it's a brand new Apex model. So, you know, be one of the handful of systems out there to run the brand new Apex, and we're waiting for their IT guy to come here to help us with the network side because they've got a pretty special wireless network, much like what you see in a hotel. So there's going to have to be some fancy stuff done on the back end for their firewall to allow the Apex to communicate with the web and more importantly the cloud. So he'll be here in about an hour, and hopefully we'll be ready for him when he gets here.
Great, great. So how's the filter system working out?
Just waiting for a protein skinner.
So we've got these two jugs here with RO water, and then we had a custom-made reservoir done that'll hold about 20-25 gallons as opposed to a handful of individual jugs of water. That'll be connected with some float switches in the sump. You can see the cutout there in the lids. That'll be for the ATB protein skimmer. We'll get that set up in a little bit. Down here is the water pump. This is which water pump again?
Fluval SP6.
The Fluval model SP6. Very quiet pump. You can see the box there that has the chiller down inside of it. Without the chiller running, what is the water temperature in the tank?
83.
83. So do you think that's the water pump that's kind of influencing that temperature?
Well, you've got water pump, you've got the Tunzes.
Right.
So, you know, there's a number of pumps here. You know, we're driving some wattage into the tank, and wattage is wattage for the most part. These pumps will transfer a little bit of heat. So.
Right. Okay, so let's get to work.
As it turns out, our fancy Tunze bulkhead mounts and subterranean plumbing to the outdoor filter system have created two problems for us. The first is the Tunze power cords that pass through the bulkheads allow some water from the tank to pass through them. This increases the amount of water that back siphons to the filter system when the power's turned off. And two, a much more difficult one to solve, is the underground plumbing, more so the rise that is required to get into the filter box from the underground level, creates a siphon.
So before I pull this, how much do you want to make the adjustment on?
Again,
Huh?
I said again, you need to measure between the top of the Durzo and the lid and leave a 1/4 inch of space between.
There's an inch and a quarter at the most.
Well, that means you're going to be adding at least an inch.
Okay.
You know,
And
you need a tape measure to measure to be sure.
I mean, I can see it's a knuckles distance at the most.
Okay, but how about that lid? That lid sits into place a 1/4 inch too.
Yeah. All right. So you're talking maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Just be sure to make it as tall as possible.
The Durzo standpipe is designed to reduce the siphon, but in this situation, it seems it has no real effect. The water has to pass too far underground, and it creates too strong a pull. What we're going to do today is to add a coupling to the drain standpipe in an attempt to raise the tank's water level and hopefully solving the back siphon water level issue. The second solution is to open up that small hole at the top of the Durzo standpipe's cap in an attempt to lessen the siphon effect. So while Scott is working on the Apex controller system, I'll cut and modify the standpipe to see if this will solve the siphon problem. So, your cool nano reef tank is doing great, but you've got an algae problem? Consider the drop from Santa Monica filtration. 7 sizes to easily fit into the filter compartment of most nano tanks. And just like their bigger cousins, the Hog and the Surf, all use air bubbles and LED light technology to grow algae. Algae that consumes nutrients. And that algae replaces itself at no new cost to you. For more information on Santa Monica Filtration's Drop, Hog, and Surf Algae Scrubbers, visit santa-monica.cc.
Hi, Jim Stime here with Aquarium Design. I sure hope you're enjoying the show. Just a little inside information. When I met with the customer originally to discuss what it was she wanted, she told me she wanted a cylinder tank and she wanted a living coral reef. Well, I knew right away I needed to bring in my friend Cande to help out with that live rock sculpture. The second thing she said to me was, and I want the app on my phone. Well, I knew right there I needed to bring in my friend Scott Leaf and that we were going to be installing the Neptune Systems Apex Aquarium controller. Here's some information on their most updated version.
The design of the outside of the Apex was just as important to us as what we did on the inside. So the new mounting system lets the Apex flip up and you can easily see where all the cables go. It then drops back down to keep stray water from entering the electronics. Underneath are many of the same connectors found on the previous Apex, things like switch inputs and your variable speed ports, and even Aquabus, so all of your existing modules and accessories will work with this Apex. We've also added salinity monitoring as well. And of course, for monitoring the health of your aquarium, there are the connectors for pH, ORP, temperature, and there's even a connector for 12-volt input for power outage situations. So it's actually quite amazing how many things we put into this new Apex to monitor the health of your aquarium and to control everything that you need to control. But what we really did was listen to all of the customer feedback and put some things in there like Wi-Fi. So now you have Wi-Fi if you want to use it, or you can use a wired connection. One-touch firmware updates. We now call it the Apex operating system, and with one touch on your mobile device, you can update it. With the Energy Bar 832, you can see how much power each and every device on your aquarium is using. You can then monitor that for a day, make some changes to say your lighting schedule or your temperature, and see how it changes the next day. The Energy Bar 832 has 3 built-in one-link ports. This means you can connect up with one cable our wave pumps, the dose to dose elements in your aquarium, and future products that we'll come out with. On the new Energy Bar, there are indicator lights that show you when each and every outlet is on or off, and they also will blink if you happen to be pulling too much current on any one outlet so that you don't overload a circuit. We know that tens of thousands of aquarists around the world count on the Apex as a critical component to their successful aquariums. This new Apex gives us the platform to continue innovating for our customers so that they can be more successful with less hassle.
Reef Hobbyist magazine believes that our hobby, our fellow hobbyists, and the animals in our care are best served by the free distribution of quality information. Reef Hobbyist magazine provides hobbyists with critical husbandry information with an emphasis on marine ornamental breeding efforts. Reef Hobbyist magazine is available for free in local fish stores across the country, or you can subscribe at www.reefhobbyistmagazine.com.
Hi, my name's Jim Stime, and I'm the producer and the voice of the LA Fishguys video series. With today's digital world and social media, the printed word seems to have fallen by the wayside. Videos via YouTube and social media are now the key means of getting your word or product in front of your customers.
With 8 years of LA Fishguys videos, I'm now offering my services of video production to you. And what I can offer is prompt, reliable, and affordable. I can create your concept and storyboard. I can assemble your video from pictures or video. I can write your script. I can add graphics. I can do voiceovers. And I can film you on location. And with YouTube's aggressive ad rev scanning program towards copyright music infringement, I have my own library of licensed music.
If you're interested in what we can create, please contact me via email at jim@aquarium-design.com or telephone me at 805-241-7140.
So with Scott connecting multiple modules to the Apex energy bars, and I, who have lengthened the Durzo standpipe inside the internal overflow in an attempt to decrease the back siphon and the drain siphon, are about ready to see if my efforts have solved the problem.
So the extended and slightly modified Durzo is now in place. We reamed out the hole there a little bit to create less of a siphon. We've raised it actually only about a ½ inch, and that should help a little bit with the water level. So that's the Durzo and the 2 returns from the filter system at the top of the overflow. And the lid, those are the power cords for the tunsies down inside there. And then the lid notched for the overflow, which will help minimize noise. And then down here, Scott is in the process of running the snake into one of the extra pipes that we buried into the trench, and that's what's going to pull the network line and the phone line through, which in turn will connect the computer equipment on the underside of the cabinet to the filter equipment outside. So the snake got hung up going in one direction, so we're pushing it through another direction.
Yeah, and I have some special slippery stuff, which I should have brought with. I didn't.
I know what you're talking about. Kind of fluorescent yellow in color.
Nah, it's clear.
Lube.
Yes. Lube. Water-based lube.
Okay, so the snake made it through the pipe. This is one of the 4 pipes buried in the ground, and this is the one that'll carry the network line, the phone line, and it'll allow the communication between under the cabinet here and the filter system outside. So we're at the point now where we're beginning to attach the cables to the snake so we can pull it back through. He's got some electrician's tape, and there'll be more lube that'll be put on there. But the challenge is going to be to create a snake, for lack of a better description, that won't get caught up as we do pull it back through. Hey, don't take any more. That's all you can have. Okay, so we managed to get it pulled through. There's a little less than 2 foot at my end. And of course my wife was already complaining that I didn't buy it long enough. You know.
You should be so lucky.
He's got all this excess out here, so we'll be able to back off on some of that, so that'll all work out.
Yep, smooth cable pull.
Now he'll take those cords that we pulled through and make the connections.
Yeah, they're all connected right now. We're just kind of hooking in our leak sensors. All right. All right, next up is our apex board.
That's the one that's going to go into underneath the cabinet,
That's right.
underneath the tank.
It's like Christmas.
Oh yeah, you've been pretending it's your Christmas present for days now. Just like a Christmas present, hard to unwrap, and excited in doing so.
Yeah, we gotta get this thing in place because our IT guy's gonna be here to handle their Wi-Fi. They have quite the complex Wi-Fi setup. I think I mentioned it earlier, but it's more like a hotel than your typical residential Wi-Fi. We've done that for security purposes, but unfortunately with the way it's set up, once you connect to the Wi-Fi, you have to log in, and that won't work with an Apex. So he has to make some changes in the Wi-Fi for the IP address of this Apex so that the Apex has access to the internet.
Who wrapped this? Santa Claus?
Yeah, I did. I didn't want to get it nicked up in the car. So we wrapped it well, obviously. All right. Go grab the brains for this thing.
So Scott, like a proud papa, has spent a lot of time at home mounting the components to this board.
Brains in, didn't I? And our probes are there.
The board, with its mounted hardware, has magnets that will grasp the inside of the metal stand.
And now that my fingers are all slimy,
So make it a point to come on back for part 7, the completion of the Aquarium controller system on the Cylinder Reef Tank.
And this is the brand new version of Neptune's Aqua controller.
all right. So the next thing we're going to need to do, Jim, is get those probes